Hello, hello, Burn City fam. Welcome to an episode of the Burn City Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Franklin Miller, joined by another Burn City guy and Rowan Donaghey. Rowan, it's been a minute since we've done stuff like this, but I just wanted to touch base with you for a little bit. How have you been? How have things been on your end?
Oh man, things have been amazing, man. Excited about the playoffs with the Suns, man. Excited about the Diamondbacks start to the season. A little thrown off by the Cardinals news going on and the Coyotes kind of ending the season on a sour note, but it's a beautiful time of year, beautiful weather. Sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the wind's blowing. I couldn't be happier, man. March Madness just ended in beautiful fashion, both men and women. So I'm good, man. How you been?
I've been good, man. Yeah, I can't complain either. I'm very excited, especially being able to go to the Suns games and get to see what a playoff atmosphere is all about. I've been going to the Suns games all season long. It's been great. And to be able to witness the fans and the atmosphere is going to be something that I'm not going to take for granted. I've worked hard. Me and CJ, shout out my boy CJ, who does amazing stuff for our company as well as we were going to be getting ready to update everybody on everything Suns for this next couple weeks, and so it's gonna be amazing, and yeah, like you said, it sucks that the Coyotes and Cardinals situations are kind of iffy, but I guess like for Coyotes stuff, Clayton Keller's about to like break a record for youngest 26-year-old, I'm not mistaken, of just amount of goals in a season. So they got a young player there, and no, the Cardinals are kind of have the draft coming up, and we don't know what they're going to do with that third overall pick. But to just go on a positive note, so to speak, is we can just talk a lot about Suns and Diamondbacks. But let's just start with the Suns real quick, like we've been talking about, like just playoff atmosphere. KD on the court, they're undefeated, and I know there's still been question marks. Especially with you with this bench. But now it's playoff time, baby. And now we're about to, see what if this trade was all worth it, man. So I'll just start with you, Rowan. What's your thoughts on going into the playoffs? Like concerns, if anything, with the Suns? Do you think they should be able to take care of business in this series against the Clippers? What's your overall thoughts on going into the playoffs for the Suns?
Man, real quick, I do want to shout out you and CJ, man. Them edits have been amazing. I've seen you interviewing fans and famous fans that the Suns faithful have known for years, and just you out there on the sidelines killing it every game, man. I know it's a lot of work, and man, the fans appreciate it. I appreciate watching it. And yeah, shout out to CJ on the edits. As far as going into this series specifically, I'm gonna be honest. I'm on the fence. I used to think they was gonna not make the playoffs when they first traded for Durant, just through the chemistry and lack of defense. But Okogie stepped up. A few other players have really stepped up and kind of taking control of a role that we thought was open, as far as that fifth guy, the defensive guy, the 3-and-D guy. All the roles have been filled. The one thing I will say, I think the Suns got lucky with George being iffy or out for the first few games, only because that was pretty an even matchup, if you ask me. Kawhi, KD, Booker, and George. It's an even matchup, honestly. I could see this going either way. I think it could go 7, or I think the Suns could. I mean, they undefeated with KD, so part of me thinks they're just going to come out and sweep the Clippers and just outshoot them, shoot them out the gym. And the Clippers missing Paul George will be missing that second scorer and will fall apart. So I don't know. I'm looking at a lot of stuff. They did pick up Eric Gordon in the middle of the season from the Rockets. So
huge. That was huge.
Yeah, that was a great pickup. They're deep, man. They got Nicholas Batum, just full of Robert Covington, just full of NBA vets that know how to play the game. So it will be a tough challenge. But Monty Williams, I've been saying even before he was with the Suns, is one of my favorite personally coaches. Everywhere he's went, he's been successful. So I think if anybody can come up with the right game plan against this Clippers team, it would be Monty Williams, and utilizing Booker and KD and getting all the role players rolling. And then, of course, we got the point guard. So I'm not really worried about other players on the Suns getting their shots. I just hope they knock them down when they get them. And if Aiden can step up and just have a double-double every game, this thing can go the Suns' way very easily.
Yeah, that's all good points. And yeah, another Clippers player that's been actually playing really well the past few weeks has been Norman Powell, who's been honestly their third big time scorer behind George and Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, with George out, Norman Powell's going to have to have a huge series for the Clippers to be able to come out of this one. But yeah, I would say like you're absolutely right. And from terms of depth wise, it seems like the Clippers have a lot more well, the Suns have veterans too, but I feel like the Clippers have a lot more veterans from a sense that have playoff experience. You obviously have Ty Lue as a championship coach, who's one of the best coaches in the league as well. So it isn't going to be an easy slouch to get past, even with Paul George out. I do think the Clippers are going to have a hard time trying to defend both Kevin Durant and Devin Booker one-on-one because you're going to have to double team one or the other. And I do love the fact that throughout his career, Chris Paul has averaged 20 points per game in the playoffs. Last year, he averaged 17.5. They're going to definitely need his scoring to get over the hump this go around. And I believe Chris Paul's up for the challenge. He's actually been his last 2 games. He's averaged like 22.5, if I'm not mistaken, points to end the season. And it's been great to see him just be an aggressive scorer of the ball. And so I do love DeAndre Ayton's situation where he's playing against Ivica Zubac. I think he's had great success with him in the past. Obviously, we go like 2020 where he had that iconic game-winning alley-oop that got the Suns fans going.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it was, and that's all, and that's great. So yeah, one thing that's obviously going to be the key to this is which bench is going to show up in key moments. I'm looking to Cameron Payne leading the way for these guys. I'm looking for Terrence Ross to shine with TJ Warren to step up now at playoff times is around. So we shall see. We actually don't even know when Cameron Payne or Bismack Biyombo is coming back because Cameron Payne got hurt in that Lakers game. Yeah, Biyombo, I have seen him at practice. He has a brace on his right knee, like lower right knee. I don't know what that's going to do for him come game time situations or if Landell's going to get more playing time. So it's going to be interesting to see coming up. But at the end of the day, if KD and Booker are making their shots, it's going to be tough for the Clippers to come out. But Kawhi's Kawhi, man, especially in the playoff time. Good Lord. He's a different beast.
He's the closest thing I've ever seen, including Kobe, to Michael Jordan. Like Kawhi Leonard, his little touch and fadeaway and just no wasted movements, man. Honestly, Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player since Carmelo Anthony retired. I said in 2012, whenever Carmelo retires, Kawhi's going to be my guy. He's let me down the last couple of years. But to touch on your point, one of the things that does concern me about this series is ever since they have gotten KD, even though they're undefeated, Chris Paul has taken kind of a corner, just sitting a corner role, and KD and Book are going back and forth, distributing the ball and pulling up with their mid-range and running the pick and roll.
Yeah, they do a lot more of the ball dominant. And even Josh Okogie's brought up the ball a lot more with all of them. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
So that's the one part, like, if we take Chris Paul out of the game ourselves, but it's like, I don't know. I'm sure Monty Williams knows what he's doing. He's probably be giving Chris Paul some rest. He is old. I'm sure he'll be ready to go in the playoffs. As you said, he's been a beast in the playoffs. Even that 2020 run to the finals, man, a few of those games was literally on Chris Paul's back.
Yep.
Everybody was doubling Booker, trying not to let him get anything off. The more we talk about it, man, the more I realize how really these teams are literally evenly stacked down the roster.
Especially if Paul George was healthy, it'd be like
mirrors.
Mirrors. It's crazy that it's like it's a perfect matchup. It's like you have a couple of those type of matchups this playoff. You got Warriors and Kings with like mirror images of one another almost. It's gonna be fun. Postseason run should be.
It's the first year in a while I feel like it's really not 2 or 3 teams that's better than everybody else. I mean, I feel like you got the Bucks and then you got everybody else, but everybody else is pretty stacked as far as talent. The Bucks just feel like a different animal, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The last 2 months of the season,
man, they got the best team with the best player, man. Like, they're tough. They're tough. I expect them, and I could be wrong because I got 3 out of the 4 playing games wrong. playing games like March Madness. But like I fully expect if they don't run to Boston, they should run through the East. That's how much confidence I have in that team.
No, I don't.
Are healthy.
I could see them going to the finals and only losing maybe one game the whole playoffs, man. Honestly, I think they have that tenacity.
Yeah, because I definitely see them sweeping either the Bulls or I have the Heat maybe getting one game.
Yeah,
but I'm either getting them a sweep or winning 5, man. Like none of those teams can beat Milwaukee in a 7-game series, and then it's gonna be tough. So, but yeah, going back to the Suns though, yeah. So they're gonna have their hands full with the Clippers, in my opinion, despite Paul George being out. And I don't know who's like a couple X factors that you're looking to shine, especially in these first 2 games. So hopefully for them to go up 2-0 to take care of home court. Who you looking at?
That's the thing. We got home court advantage, man. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I hate to do it, but I need DeAndre Ayton to be 15 and 12 every game at least. Mm-hmm. If DeAndre Ayton can do that, it'll take a lot of pressure off of those role guys. Whoever's in the corner, whether it's your boy, I can't think of his name, Ish Wainwright, or Chris Paul, whoever's sitting in that corner, knock down the shot. If you can hit that shot at 40, 45%, and we can get a double-double out of DeAndre Ayton, and Book and KD just will have that freedom to do their thing, and then Chris Paul, whenever he needs to pick up the slack. But honestly, it's going to come down to defense, man. And when I'm looking at the defensive end, it's going to be what can Torrey Craig and what can Josh Okogie do to slow down Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers on the defensive end. The offense is going to be there for the Suns. My biggest question since they made this trade is losing Cam Johnson and McCall Bridges. Was the perimeter defense lacking a little bit? Devin Booker's he's not a below average defender, but I would never call him a shutdown defender. Same thing with Kevin Durant. I wouldn't call any of them shutdown defenders. And the length, though, Kevin Durant has always is kind of like that seesaw where it's like he can get beat and recover a lot quicker. But it's really going to be on that whoever's in the corner, whether it's Okogie or Wainwright or Paul and DeAndre Ayton, just man in the middle. If they can do that and they can play solid defense, the rest of it's going to click, especially with Monty Williams at the helm, man. He's like a guru up there, man. It's like a Phil Jackson Jr. at the head coach spot. He knows how to talk to the guys and get them going.
Yeah, I like that.
Who you got? Who you got as your X factor, man?
My X factor, I want to say Chris Paul. I kind of want to be a little bit more complex. Obviously, I am looking at Chris Paul from the standpoint of just having that third option scorer, because there's going to be nights where one if not the other. There's probably going to be nights, a night or two where D-Book might have an off night scoring. You're hoping that doesn't happen. But if I had to go really, really in depth, I would say if they can just continue to get Torrey Craig's effort like he brings every night, it's going to be a tough series for the Clippers, in my opinion. Because him and Okogie's abilities to get offensive rebounds and extra possessions for the team, along with the ability that they bring on the defensive end, especially on the perimeter, it wreaks havoc, and it actually leads into a lot of transition plays and a lot of second chance points. It helps get the fans even more engaged in the game, and fans can be really, really pivotal, especially in the playoffs where it gets loud and it gets hectic, So I think having Torrey Craig continue to play the way he's been playing all season long, because he's been an X factor, in my opinion, all season with his effort. I think if they can continue to bring that in the playoffs, that's a huge advantage, especially in a series like this where it's going to be physical. And you got two teams that are really, really hone in on the mid-range. So like we've been saying ad nauseum, these are two mirror images of one another. So it should be interesting to see, man. And I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, if I had to pick an X factor, it's definitely Torrey Craig. So
I thought you was gonna go with your boy Jock Landale, man. I ain't gonna lie. He's with Bismack out, he's gonna have to step up and at least give us a solid 8 to 12 minutes, man.
Yeah, the thing is, when it especially comes playoff time, you're the people in the rotation, those minutes really shrink.
Right.
So it really becomes more of like a 9-man rotation, especially in postseason play. KD's going to be playing 40 minutes. D-Book's going to be playing close to 40 minutes. Chris Paul's probably going to be playing close to 40 minutes. If one of those two, along with Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, one of them's going to be on the court at all times. Mm-hmm. So that shrinks your rotation, which is why I didn't really choose a guy like Landale. He's going to play quality minutes, but I was picking a guy particularly that I believe is going to get a lot of minutes, even as a non-starter, because I feel like there will be times where Craig's probably going to finish the game with the starters because of the effort he brings, and his ability, like you said, to hit knockdown corner threes when they're open. I think that's going to be huge as well. So because he's been having a career year, so that's why I chose Craig, because I think he's going to be that.
Yeah,
expected.
You touched on the fans, man. I will say this: I've been in Staples Center for a Clippers game.
Crypto.com Arena, you mean?
Yeah, and I've been in U.S. Airways for a Suns game, and they changed the name too, huh? I'm sorry, bro.
No, it's fine, man. It's fine.
It's not U.S. Airways no more. The Suns.
Oh no, not even close. It's Footprint Center, bro.
All right, so I've been in Footprint Center for the Suns games, and I've been in whatever the Staples Crypto.com is for the Clippers games.
Yeah,
Suns Arena gets rocking about 10-20 times more than LA. So the home court advantage with the Suns fans rocking will really be going, man. Chris, man.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, my people?
Yes, sir.
Franklin just asked me this. I'm going to throw it to you, man. Suns Clippers, who's your biggest X factor on the Suns team? I went with Wainwright hitting the corner three and Ayton getting a double-double. Franklin, just to paraphrase him, he went with Torrey Craig.
I'm going to go halfway with Rowan and say Ayton.
Okay.
I feel like if they throw Kawhi at KD, not that it's going to like nullify him completely, but it does help a little bit. I think Ayton's going to be the difference maker, and I think Booker is, honestly. Them not having Paul George is a huge loss. So, yeah. I think I told you I'm not too overly excited for this matchup. I think the Clippers probably can get, a game, maybe 2 games, but I'm expecting them to do what they got to do this time. So.
Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, that's – oh, yeah. You're saying,
go ahead, Frank. I was just about to say, Clippers have Paul George. I think they'd be allowed to take this series. But,
it'd be exciting.
It'd be going 6-7 games, bro. I think it'd go 7 if Paul George is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kawhi can't do it by himself. And it's not a bad team, but if you're talking in terms of star power, he can't do it by himself. That's it. I mean, we were saying that about the Suns prior to getting KD, as far as could Ayton step up, could Chris Paul step up, which, Paul has been, was phenomenal his last couple of games in the regular season, but we were saying the same thing. I mean, same thing applies to the Clippers. No Paul George, that hurts. No other way to cut it. So, yeah. They're a fun team from what we saw in that last game we just played against them, but I don't see them in a playoff atmosphere coming away with. It's not going to 7 games or anything crazy like that. No.
Old take, Chris.
No, for real. Because I can still see this game. I can still see it going 6 or 7, bro. Kawhi Leonard is the new Michael Jordan, man. You ain't heard?
Ooh.
That's
a bold take.
He did heat up. He did heat up in that second half, but I really did not want us to beat them. Well, for them to win that game, because I was really hoping that we got a different matchup, one of the different matchups. So when it happened, I'm like, well, here's 5-6 more games of this, and then we'll move on to, whoever is next. So.
No, 100%, man. Yeah, it's cool. It's just so, like I was saying earlier in the show, Chris, it's cool how in Arizona there's like a new era wave going on. Like Diamondbacks baseball is getting good. You got Suns playoffs, the KD era. So it's just really cool to kind of see all this kind of come to fruition, especially all of us working together, just kind of getting to witness, especially the Suns and the playoffs is going to be a thing where it's going to be, really cool to see, man. So.
We're going to remember this for the rest of our life, bro.
Yeah, whatever happens, Literally, whatever happens. I mean,
this is going in the memories book. Like,
I would hate. I don't think it's highly unlikely that the Clippers upset the Suns. I mean, it had to be a lot that happened for that to happen. I mean, it would have to be the worst games.
It'd be a travesty. It'd be a travesty. I don't even know how to react.
Yeah, if they somehow pass the Suns, we might have to shut down for a minute. It might be a cold summer for us, honestly. I don't know. We'll be writing 30 articles about what went wrong.
I'm gonna talk to Benny and be like, Benny, look, man, I need a break. Like, I'm going to Cabo. I'm doing something to take my mind off this, man. I need a break.
I'm going with KD and Chris and them to Cabo. I have no more reasons to write about how we just got beat by them. Reason number 313 on game 3. Why we want?
Oh man, that's crazy.
It'll be interesting.
I don't think it'll be that big of an upset, man. Like y'all making it. I mean, the Clippers are plus 370 to win the series. So I don't know. You can take whatever Vegas says.
I think they're that because people are still expecting Paul George to come back in game 3 or 4. Like, he's not ruled out for the entire series, and I think they're expecting him to come back. So
how nervous would y'all be if we going into game 4? Paul George is coming back. They split the games in Phoenix, and the Clippers got game 3.
Oh,
I'm not too worried. I'm still not worried. And that says a lot coming from me, all right? I'm not worried. Just because George still has to get in playoff shape. It's not coming into a regular season, game 53, against the Pistons. You're in the playoffs, like against the Suns with KD. I think the X factor for the Clippers, though, is Russell Westbrook.
He's about to run laps, bro.
House on that. If he has one of those games, a couple of those games, it could get interesting.
Yeah, it definitely can get interesting if he goes back to OKC. Russell Westbrook.
If he does that, all the slander that he gets, you cannot take that from that man. He is cold-blooded if he goes to that, which he seems like he's been a little bit of that since he got to LA, honestly. So, to the other side of LA. Yeah, that's what I said. I think he's a pretty big X factor. I like Terrence, man. I think he's kind of he can get hot in the stretch. You already know how I feel about Bones Highland. He's who he is. But
Norman Powell.
Norman Powell is a monster with Portland.
Yeah, Norman Powell is very underrated. I liked him when he was with Toronto. He's very underrated.
When he gets hot, man. Yeah. All bets are off in that game. Like, it's scary.
And that's when you need, like, a Josh Okogie or a Torrey Craig to step up and give that defense. Because, I love Terrence Ross. You're not getting that from him. That's you're not going to get that from him. So, I like Norman Powell. They got a couple of different X factors, but
Gordon's another. Yeah.
They got Batum, Covington. They got, we was talking about it before you came on. Like, the first thing we was talking about was just the depth of NBA vets with playoff experience on the Clippers team.
Oh, yeah, they got depth. It's not of a talented team as they've had before, even with Kawhi and them. Like, they've had names, but this probably has a little bit of depth that's underrated. But, yeah, I'm not worried, y'all. I'm sorry. Hate to be that guy.
It's that KD X factor, man. That kind of makes you a little bit more comfortable, so to speak, as long as he's doing his thing.
I'll say this, though. I still got this weird vision in my head. Booker drops 42, KD drops 48, and the Suns lose by 12 points, 120 to 108.
Hey, man. That sounds like Rondo, because Rondo was saying that same thing on First Take.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, where it's like Chris Paul drops 20, D-Book drops 30, and KD drops 30 as well, and the Suns still lose the series, which is basically an indication of, like, that bench ain't going to do nothing, basically. So, like, that's basically why.
It's a real concern of mine, man. You go from the Clippers roster, and it's full of playoff experience, and you go to the Suns roster, and it's full of unproven talent. They got talent. It's unproven, though, in the playoffs for sure.
It's 6 o'clock.
Sorry, it's my laptop.
I was like, oh, my God.
My laptop. My bad, y'all.
I thought the aliens was taking over.
Yeah,
It's 6 o'clock.
I thought that was Jacob making an entrance. At first, I was like, all right, well, that makes a little more sense. But nah, man,
that's my laptop.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm just not worried, man. I think
yeah.
I don't know how I can stress that enough. Actually, I don't care if they go on a crazy run and y'all message me and be like, "You worried yet?" No, I'm not worried yet.
I ain't gonna message you. Rowan might. I'm gonna sit out. If we're down 2-1 and Paul George coming back and we're like losing at halftime in that game 4, now I'm worried. But but other than that, it's like,
man, I'm gonna say this: when they traded for KD, I expected them to be in the play-in, so that's where I was at with it.
What?
Yeah, the fact had a freezing cold take on.
I forgot that the NBA is no defense necessary anymore.
Nope.
I'm used to a league where you need perimeter defense.
Yeah. 100%. It's just it's not it. Now, depending on who we play after them, that's when my worry will creep in. That's what I was gonna say. Depending on who comes next, which I'm not entirely sure.
It's either gonna be Denver or the winner of the Thunder and Timberwolves.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Denver.
Because
whoever wins the Thunder and the Timberwolves is not getting past Denver.
I want to see Thunder versus Nuggets so badly, just to see Shea just let everybody know who he is, and let Josh Giddey just let them young guys know who they are, because they look amazing against New Orleans.
They deserve it, but but I'd like to see them get that recognition after they tanked for so many years, got these young picks. If you can get to the playoffs with this young team and at least give Denver a fight, yeah, I'd love to see it, but they're not going to get past them. So.
Crazy part to me is that was tanking this season. Since the All-Star break, they haven't played SAG. Yeah, and it's crazy that they still in this position.
They did what the Mavericks did at the end of the season for the whole season, and somehow
they make the playoffs.
Yeah, they benefited from a weak season from the West, bro. They benefited from that.
I do not want to see Minnesota at all. I like certain players on the team. I don't like the team as a whole. I just don't. I've literally said for the past week or so, Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert are probably two of the most cringiest players in the league to me. I mean, it's just like they cannot stop themselves from doing something where I'm just like, oh, why did you do that? I mean, Kat did Bridges' 3-point celebration. I'm like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? I don't want to see them. Not on TV if I don't have to. So, yeah. I mean, I think this will be their last game. I think the Thunder are going to go in there and do what they got to do, and that'll be that. So,
yeah,
I got high hopes for us, but when we run into Denver, that we could do it. You know what? We honestly could prove a lot of people wrong if they beat Denver by even if they just beat Denver, honestly. Because the thing with Nikola Jokic that everybody keeps saying is he wins MVP, playoffs come, and air goes out the ball for him. You build on that narrative by knocking out an MVP candidate. That's good. I mean, no other way around it.
Now, I'll be honest, I'm more scared of the Clippers than the Nuggets just because of what you just said. The Nuggets are pretty much a two-headed monster. If you ask me, you got Jamal Murray, you got Joker, and then after that, you just got a bunch of catch-and-shoot cats, and you got Eric Gordon slashing to the rim. But if DeAndre Ayton could just even hold one of Joker's socks and play a little defense.
One of Joker's socks is crazy. I like that, though.
I'm telling you, this.
I think they got some okay pieces. Like me and Franklin was saying the other week, they got Bruce Brown. He's actually pretty good. I mean, the dude just finds ways to score against the best defenses. So I think they got some pieces. We'll more than likely see them. I mean, just because, like I said, Thunder or Timberwolves, neither one of them are going to get past them in 7 games. So
you got to beat the Clippers first, man.
I'm thinking ahead. So
you're so on that train of I'm not worried, bro. Hey,
ahead, man.
I gotta wait till after game 1 first before I even make some type of assumption.
Rowan, I've literally written for us against the Hornets, the Pistons, Who else? The Raptors. I've never been as unexcited as I am about to be this playoff.
I was trying to see where you was going with the teams you was naming.
I've never been as unexcited. I'm ready for the Kawhi drop 27, Clippers lose. I'm ready for all that.
Hey, Chris, you really about
crazy,
to get
man,
team, bro? I hope not.
I mean, what are we talking about? We literally first couple plays, he's gonna catch it in the post, do a couple of dribbles, do his shimmy mid-range jumper, clank it in, and do that a couple of times, and the Suns just go on runs, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, it's now if we lose game one, you will not see me.
That's what I'm saying, man. I gotta wait till game one, bro.
Yeah, send me to the gulag, and I'll be there fighting for my life.
Gonna drop you off behind Tippy Marketplace.
Spaces if they lose game one. We gotta do an emergency something if they lose game one. I'm like, oh.
If it's by a good margin, we gotta. I don't know. The room that the president goes in with the attorney general, the situation room with some crazy. That's where we gotta go in. We gotta go. Man,
we should do a quick little podcast after every playoff game, man. Just right after the game, just jump on.
Yeah, just recap.
I like that.
That'd be good.
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, but I know we got to get going soon because we have a meeting that we have to get to. But real quick, guys, I wanted to hear your thoughts on just the Diamondbacks in general right before we leave, because I know they're having a sensational start to the season. So yeah, Rowan, I know you write a lot about Diamondbacks. Does a great job of that, by the way. And he has his own podcast himself where he kind of goes deep into his bets in general and even talks a little bit Diamondbacks. So I just want to get your thoughts on how you like the Diamondbacks so far before we get going.
Man, I will say this. I'm going to say three things about the Diamondbacks. I absolutely love them. Right now, according to baseballreference.com, they got a 2% chance to win the World Series. Also, they got some players that struggled all last season that are batting over 400 right now, and Josh Rojas and Gerardo Perdomo. I don't know how to say his name. Something like that. And then Kyle Lewis, he stepped up in some big situations. But the last thing I'm going to say about this team is that they're exciting, they're young, and they have not lost a series yet. And they played every play game has been against playoff teams. So they're about to have a nice 6-week stretch of, I hate to say mediocre teams, but they're about to have a nice 6-week stretch where they don't have to worry about the Dodgers or the Padres or any other playoff team until they run into the Braves late June, I believe. So I'm excited, man. I definitely know. I know. I'm not going to say think. This team is going to make a wild card run at the very least. They might even have a run at this division if it gets to August and they're still doing what they're doing.
Oh, for sure, man.
I mean, beating the Dodgers is. I remember you saying something about that before the season even started. I mean, that's something in itself. I mean, so I got high hopes for them. You had a lot of hope in them when people were kind of, I guess, down and out about, previous seasons and whatnot. So kind of like what Frank was saying, it seems like a lot of things are clicking at the right moment for Phoenix teams. Don't know about the Cardinals yet. Got to wait and see. But
don't know about the Cardinals.
Everybody else seems to be clicking. So I'll take it.
Yep.
It's going to be exciting to see the draft, though.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's going to be a really good time to see how this all shapes up for the Diamondbacks. Shout out to I'm blanking on the manager's name.
Torey Lovullo.
There you go. Torey Lovullo.
I think they can kind of control their division over the Dodgers. If they, like you said, got a little easy stretch coming up, take advantage of it, and it's a long season, so take what you can get. But
yeah, that's the thing, man. They about to go play the Marlins.
Yeah.
Cardinals, Padres, but then they got Royals, Rockies, Rangers, Nationals, Marlins. All those teams is just bottom of the barrel. And then you run into the Giants at the end of the middle of May. And then you got the Athletics, Pirates. Phillies, who's banged up and hurt. Red Sox, who've been atrocious. And then the Rockies again. And then, like I said, early June, you run into the Braves. And that's really when your season starts to pick up again. But then right to that, you even go back to the Tigers and the Nationals. So it's like, they have the season, the schedule to go into July and be at the top of the NL West.
Yeah, good easy schedule.
Yeah. But yeah, so to wrap it up, this will do it for this episode of Burn City Sports Podcast. All the good things are happening right now in the Valley for sports teams. Tune in this weekend as the Suns play the Clippers. I know we're going to have a lot of fun stuff coming at you for postseason action this weekend. So tune in for Burn City sports stuff, Miller Sports Podcast stuff, anything remotely to do with the Suns. And obviously keep looking at Rowan stuff about the Diamondbacks, as this should be an exciting year for them. And obviously Jacob stuff about the Cardinals as drafts coming up soon. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. So I'm your host, Franklin Miller. That's Rowan Donaghey. It's Christopher Denson signing off, and we'll see you later.
Oh my God.